Hey guys, this is Marty Angler from Angling Waters Outdoors, and you're listening to my pally, Manny Moonraker, right here on UFO Buster Radio Network. Hey Manny, you know why I fish at night? Can you say UFO? UFO. That's right.
Welcome to episode number 95. I am Manny Moonraker. This is the UFO Buster Radio UFO Report. And, wow. Let's start off the way we usually do. If you want to follow me on social media, hit me up on Facebook, UFO Buster Radio, Manny Moonraker. Those are the pages. You can join UBR Truth Seekers and talk the shit, talk the talk, walk the walk. You can also go to Instagram, follow me at Manny Moonraker, and lastly, Twitter at UFO Buster Radio. So I figure I'd tell you a little story of something that happened to me, by the way, because it's a 30-minute episode and I gotta chew the fat and make this last. So recently I went in and tried to update UFO Buster Radio to make it more comprehensive. And what I mean by that is that I was trying to put every episode, just have it automatically just go in, load up and post the episode information, and also have the actual episode, have the audio. For some reason, I kind of went through this whole Terminator thing. Honestly, I woke up the next day and the thing had taken over. It's posting all kinds of stuff. It's sending out tweets. It's putting things into the UFO Buster Radio magazine. What in the hell's going on? I feel like I'm Sarah Connor. And Skynet has become self-aware, and I'm waiting for the T-1000 to come to my door, asking for Big O, and I'm not going to be Big O, and it's going to terminate me. Hasta la vista, baby. This is what's happening. So if you see a shitload of tweets, or you look on one of those Facebook pages or whatever, and you see a bunch of posts there that make no sense, it's Skynet. Skynet's come to life, it's taking over. If you're not Sarah Connor, you're fucked. If you're not Big O, you're fucked. So either way, I'm going to be terminated pretty soon. I'm pretty sure of it. But I will tell you this, if that thing starts sending me text messages, I'm going to crap my pants and I'm leaving the country. That's what's happening at UFOBusterRadio.com. If you visit anytime soon, it's going to look weird. It's going to look strange. My apologies, but that is technology today. We just got to deal with it. It is essentially 4.2 far in the worst way. Now, just to take a trip back to the last episode, I remember I had a conversation, and in that conversation from Zach, when he called in, we ended that with saying that Rubber Dicker was almost a household name, basically. I mean, you can almost say that it's become like a term, it's like, your cat fucks up somewhere, you say, you're a rubber dicker. Hopefully you don't say that to your spouse, but if you do, record it and let me know. I want to hear it. So your kids fucked up, they got an F in school, they're rubber dicking. It might be a little different. Maybe it's not like a hoax type thing, but I mean, you could probably use the rubber dicker term in so many different ways and in so many facets of life, Cop pulls you over, gives you a ticket. He's rubber dicking you. Doesn't it work? I mean, it works so great. You can't ask for a better term to use in everyday life. Now, if your kids hear it, they might repeat it in school. The teachers might not like that. But there's always that one cool teacher. You had that teacher back in the day. I had one of those. His name was Mr. Freed. Mr. Freed taught science to anyone who wanted to stay. And if you didn't want to stay, well, those rubber dickers could leave. But they still passed the class somehow. But listen, what I'm trying to say is basically rubber dicker is a household term. You can use it freely however you want. If you turn to use it on a regular basis, let me know. Send me a tweet or a message through Facebook or Instagram. Let me know, how did you use the term rubber dicker today? I think it'd be cool to hear how you do it, because I know I use it in a whole lot of ways, in places that I really shouldn't, but shit happens, you know. If you're a rubber dicker, you're a rubber dicker. Owned up to it, because I'm going to tell you. Now, the last thing before we get into our news report for today is the fact that there are some new t-shirts out for UFO Buster Radio. One is a No Fucks Given t-shirt, and the other one is a t-shirt that's, oh yeah, I love Manny Moonraker. How could I forget? I actually put that one up as a dare. And, hey, what the hell? It's there, so fuck it. If you like it, buy it. If not, there you go. Anyway, those are up. The link is in the description if you want to check them out. Also, as well as the link for everything we're going to talk about today, because we have a thing right now. There's a thing going through the news that's going bananas. It's all over the place. And it's about a tiny baby little UFO. Yes, it is miniature. The title for this article is Shock as UFO Found with a Chilling Message in Cigarette Tin at the London Science Museum. The title doesn't tell you a damn thing. But basically, this tiny UFO was found back in 1957, 1957. A long damn time ago. This thing was discovered in Silpho Moor near Scarborough in North Yorkshire. And you know where that's at. That's across the pond. Now, why is this thing miniature, and why is this story coming out now? Number one, here are the dimensions of this so-called UFO. First thing is that it was a metal disc, and it was 16 inches in diameter. It weighed only 22 pounds, and it was inscribed with a bunch of hieroglyphics on it. And the story is that this wreckage is actually similar, allegedly, supposedly. If you were there, you could freaking 4.2 far acknowledge this. The same kind of hieroglyphics that were found in Roswell in June of 1947. So let's stop right there. What are they talking about? Are they talking about the so-called metal memory that was found, you know, that you can crumble it up and it expands again, and it had markings on it? And somehow somebody thinks that this UFO is the same as the one in Roswell. I don't know how that works. But anyway, what's happening here is that this wreckage of this mini UFO actually ended up at the London Science Museum. And somebody was going through, yada, 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 going through all these little artifacts of shit that's in there. And then they got tapped on the shoulder. Hey, Rubber Dicker, did you know that there is a tin box that has wreckage from this little baby tiny UFO thingy that happened back in 1957, and the rest is history. Now, apparently, some people actually had, they had eyeballs on this. And a cafe owner says that they pretty much transcribed whatever the hell the hieroglyphics says. And so the article that I have linked in the description actually gives you a little bit of a snippet of what this thing says. But basically, it was a local cafe owner by the name of Phillip Longbottom. And he claimed that the hieroglyphics translated into a 2,000-word message. How does a cafe owner know hieroglyphics? I don't understand this. This is getting crazier and crazier. I mean, it's getting bananas here. So basically, he claims that this was all sent by an alien by the name of Ullo, not to be mistaken with the EBE Ollie from the, Czech Republic girls. But Ullo, he decided that he was going to warn the planet Earth, and that the dangers really is what it was all about. The dangers of nuclear weapons. And the message said a little something like this: you will improve or disappear. You know, if Conor McGregor read that, he would have said, who the fuck is that guy? Ullo, apparently, Ullo should have looked at his own warning, because apparently his driving was not so hot because he crashed like an idiot, and all there is a bunch of freaking little baby UFO parts strung all over the place now through the UK over there. So long story short for Ullo, he bit the dust. His little toy craft just hit rock bottom. It reminds me of that movie by, what's that movie? Batteries Not Included, where they had those little toy UFO things. But they were probably more exciting than Ullo was, because he's a rubber dicker and he couldn't fly the shit straight. Now apparently the remains, quote unquote, of this crashed baby UFO was actually archived at the Science Museum in London, and it was recently discovered by David Clark, and he is of Sheffield Hallam University, and apparently he gave a talk to the Ministry of Defense's UFO files at the museum. So there's the MOD again. So we have a mini UFO, which they think is a hoax because it's so tiny. But how can something so tiny threaten the planet Earth because of nuclear activity? I don't know. Now they're saying that there was a lot of copper stuff having to do with this particular little vehicle. And many of the metallurgy tests pretty much say the story that there's nothing unusual about the metals found in this wreckage. However, they did mention that the copper was extremely pure. Not exactly something that see on a normal basis when, testing copper. Now, of course, Mr. Clark was thoroughly amazed at this finding. He said one of the museum staff members tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I was aware that bits of a flying saucer had been kept in a cigarette tin in the museum group store for decades. He says I was absolutely amazed when later we opened the tin and saw the wreckage. So originally this stuff came from the the Natural History Museum in London, where the experts actually said that this was probably like an elaborate hoax because there was no evidence on the metal that it came from elsewhere, meaning 4.2 far in the solar system, because there was no evidence of high temperatures that they would expect something entering into our atmosphere from space to have. So there was no burn marks, no scorches, no nothing. Everything looked pristine. Nice little hieroglyphics on it. I mean, it was long enough for a cafe owner to learn hieroglyphics and just, get it done. My only question here is, it's 1957. Who the hell is going to take the time to create a little tiny baby UFO, put all these hieroglyphics on it, make it look like it crashed, and carry this hoax for how many years? This is very, very weird. And who would come up with the name of Ullo? How nasty is that? I mean, come on, let's be serious. Is this really a hoax? I mean, I don't know. If it is, it's pretty elaborate, especially for 1957. To come up with something like this? I mean, it's nothing short of amazing, if you ask me. And then to have a cafe owner actually be able to transcribe this for everyone, that really is beyond rubber dicking. That deserves an Academy Award. An Oscar, probably. But in any case, the link for this story, this miniature little story, it's in the description, so check it out, give it a read. There's more to it. You can check. There's actually pictures of the wreckage and all that kind of nonsense. I don't know. You make the call. Do you think this is the real deal? Or, are we being rubber-dicked again? Hard to say. But if in 1957 they come up with shit like this, they really do. They deserve an award for that.
Coming to you from the hills of Texas, right here, UFO Buster Radio is now on the air. You can visit Manny and Big O at UFOBusterRadio.com. That's right, this is Bubba Doohickey saying, boys, squeal like a pig. Oink, oink, oink.
All right, so let's get on to the next story, because just recently I was sitting around and there was so many stories last year. There were a lot of freaking stories regarding UFOs last year. And not just UFOs, we had things like CERN, talking about how CERN is opening up a multi-dimensional gate, and shit's going to be coming through and the planet's going to implode. And we had things about Stephen Bassett, our favorite rubber dicker Stephen Greer. Stephen Bassett came into the picture because, he's the so-called only lobbyist that actually goes to Congress and try to lobby for disclosure because he wants to get rid of the truth embargo. And I'm doing air quotes. You can do it with me. I don't care if you're sitting at your desk or if you're, sitting in your car, air quotes right now, truth embargo. So I was wondering just recently, probably last week as a matter of fact, is what's going on with CERN? We're still here. Maybe we're on a different timeline. I don't know. Maybe we switched timelines and CERN fucked up another planet and this is a different alternate timeline. Maybe there's another me somewhere that CERN disintegrated because of their little collider. But I don't know. Something to find out. Why haven't we blown up yet? What the hell is CERN doing? I'm waiting for the big one, and they're screwing around. But then the other person that came to mind was Stephen Bassett, because early on when the whole thing came out with Hillary Clinton campaign, his name was thrown around a little bit. They talk about Stephen and how he did this and he did that, and he was in touch with the people that knew. He was trying to make waves. He was trying to get, people who are up in government to get rid of the so-called truth embargo. Well, recently, there was a news article published regarding Stephen's activities last year. The title for this article is Vladimir Putin set to announce aliens are here on Earth. Now, I got to tell you right from the start, let me just tell you that this article title is 4.2 far rubber dicking everyone because it doesn't really say that in the article. Instead, what it tells us is that Mr. Vladimir Putin apparently is the world leader that will announce that aliens are real and that we've made contact and they've been to Earth. And then there's a comma. And then after the comma, it says a UFO expert has claimed. In other words, Mr. Bassett from the Paradigm Research Group, PRG for short, basically is saying that it will be Vladimir Putin who will be the one to disclose the existence of ET. He goes on to say that he spent a week in Moscow campaigning for Putin to step forward and be the so-called disclosure president. Now I'm gonna just come out and say it because this Bassett guy, he's a turncoat. First it was going to be Hillary. Hillary's coming on. She's going to be the disclosure president. But that's after he dumped Obama because he was saying Obama was going to be the disclosure president. But it looks like he's kind of touting party lines because he said for sure President Trump is not going to be the disclosure president. So apparently we know what side of the fence he's on when it comes to politics. So apparently the rich guy with all the money is not going to be the one to disclose aliens. You've got to be a Democrat to do that. You Republican fuckers are not going to do it. But that's what Stephen Bassett is saying. So he's not even going to try. He doesn't care to even discuss this with anyone. It's Trump's not going to do it. Fuck it. Let's go to Brokeback Mountain horse riding Vladimir Putin. So that's where he's at. So apparently last year he was on a TV station called Ren TV, and he had a documentary, where he was interviewed or whatever, and that's what he talked about. He says that basically Putin will be the one to disclose the existence of aliens. Do I believe that Putin really gives two shits about disclosing aliens to anybody? No. But if you do, let me know. If you think that Vladimir Putin is going to be the one to jump off his horse while he's riding bareback and tell us that aliens are real, let me know. I would like to know how you came up to that conclusion. Probably the same way that Stephen Bassett did, though I would like to know still, how did he paint that picture on Russian TV? Now, apparently apparently the interview can actually be seen on the Paradigm Research Group's YouTube channel. It's up there. I didn't go check it out because it just seems a bit far-fetched that Vladimir Putin is going to even consider to be talking about that kind of crazy shit. Well, not that it's crazy, but I just don't think that he's the guy that's going to do it. I apologize if I use the word crazy. But, he's a different kind of rubber dicker. I don't think he's going to do it. Now, so you have the interview on there on the PRG YouTube. Check it out if you can. I don't have the link. Like I said, I didn't even bother going over there because it just gives me hives. But the interview actually took place last year. So it's not anything new. So I guess while everyone's trying to figure out whether or not they're trying to influence the election here in the United States, Stephen Bassett was licking his testicles, trying to get him to basically give up the ET information. In part of that discussion, Bassett said in the article, there's a quote that says, "If I had 2 minutes with Putin, my only question would be, why do you not tell people about the ET presence?" I believe Vladimir Putin is well aware of the ET presence. Okay. I mean, I don't know what to say about this article. I don't know about Stephen Bassett. I mean, where is he going? It seems like he might be heading downhill from here. And money, some of you guys might be upset about that. Some of you are really good fans of Stephen Bassett and Stephen Greer. All the Stevens when it comes to ufology. But it seems like right now the Stevens are all about rubber dicking us. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised. That we haven't heard a whole lot from Stephen Greer in terms of the whole Tic Tac video thing. He did have a small statement, basically, but I mean, let's be honest. These two guys are due for a crucial and critical resurfacing because ufology is pretty much being hijacked. So, what are they going to do? You got the To the Stars Academy. You got Deuce Bigelow. He's stealing the news when it comes to ufology. I mean, what is he going to do? We got Elon Musk. He's shooting his roadster into the sky and having a dummy become the star of space. I'm sorry. These guys are due for an appearance. The question is, what kind of rubber dicking stunt are they going to pull this year in order to get back into the limelight? That's what I'm waiting for. You know how people say they're waiting for the other shoe to drop? Well, this is it. What will the Stevens bring us this year? The link for this article is in the description. Check it out. There's a lot more info in it. I don't think Vladimir is going to jump off his horse in order to tackle ufology. But, I mean, you never know. You just never know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so last but not least, I did send a question to Ali. And you know who Ali is. He's the alien contact that they used through a mediumship from another dimension that the Prodaska girls speak to out in the Czech Republic. And I did send a question just out of the blue, just because, I figure, why not? Let's get some answers here. So my question was this: are there other EBEs around Zeta Reticuli, and have they made contact with humans? It's an important question because we see Zeta Reticuli always show up in ufology, and people saying that there's things that are coming from that particular part of the galaxy. And why not? Why not just ask the one person that I would think would know, which would be Ollie, since we're on good speaking terms. And so this is the response that I got from Ollie. As you know from before, Ilona does translate this from her language into English. And there are some places where it gets a little choppy. But this is basically what she responded on behalf of Ollie. So she says yes, but they have contacts at a different level. They are more interested in the state of farm animals. I would just stop there. There's a lot of people on this planet who are interested in the state of farm animals. That's a different story. And then comma, their entrails. You see what I mean? You just can't write this stuff inside the body. But it is not so often. With the people, they do not have a good rapport. Basically, I think what they're saying is people are scared shitless of them coming down and, going for the wrong end of the cow. They watched a few people, but they stopped. They began to worry about their reaction, even though there were people paralyzed. There already was no source of energy for this activity to keep track of the human inside and the human tissue and body. They could not go any further. They too, our neighbors, work with us, but they are more shyness. They watch your earth just like we do. They are our neighbors. So long story short, it sounds like what Ali is saying basically is that there's other dudes in the vicinity of Zeta Reticuli, and apparently they used to come here and probe cattle and stuff like, have their way with them. Look at their entrails, check out how does it work type of thing, and leave their remains for the farmers. But apparently they also wanted to check out humans. Might be why some of them are missing for years now, but they couldn't put any more energy into it. I think basically what's happening is, people were just scared of getting abducted or whatever, and the little ETs could not handle it either. So basically they stopped fucking around with us and decided just to do it from a distance. So that was the response that I got from Ilona Prodaska, apparently by way of mediumship through Ollie. And I've got to say that Ollie is really becoming pretty popular on other podcasts now. There are constantly folks sending messages for her to have answered by Ollie. And, it is what it is. Radio KGRA is always sending questions. Mr. Michael Melton. There are people from the Czech Republic that send questions. And there's even been some employees of the White House who apparently have a lot of interest in Ollie. Not any high-ranking people, but, people associated with the building. But apparently, Ollie has become quite the ambassador for things that are not of this planet. In any case, that will be the episode for today. I thank you guys for listening. I really want to thank you guys who are shooting over to YouTube and joining the channel on YouTube. Like I said, once we get enough people on there, we can go full video, and basically you'll just see me talking the shit on this podcast. And maybe we'll take a field trip once in a while just to see what the hell is really out there. I also want to thank you guys for all the great comments since the last episode, especially the Rubber Dicker comments. Fantastic. And there was even a good comment for Brett Collins. If you remember Brett Collins, he's the one who translated the book for the Prodraska girls, and he actually came on the podcast. We interviewed him. And there were somebody smitten for him in the worst way on the YouTube channel. And they didn't even see his picture, so they must know him from somewhere. But they said he is 4.2 hot. I kind of don't look my way. I'm just a dude. But hey, if it works for y'all, fantastic. I thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit and subscribe and share and retweet and all that goodness, because that's what's going to keep us on this platform, wherever you're listening at. So without further ado, ciao.